Dr. Priya. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Yinka. I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. So I'm going to introduce myself first, then you can introduce yourself. So I'm Dr. Yinka and Dr. I'm a family physician, also known as a general practitioner in the UK. And I own a skincare line called Dr. Yinka Skin that really is aimed at women of color. That's what I do. So what about you?
So I am Dr. Priya, and I'm a physician in the US, and I am currently working on starting a product to help women of color more easily and accurately find makeup, especially when shopping online. And, I was so excited to meet you through our common business school class, and I'm really excited to collaborate with you today.
Yes, and this has been long in the waiting. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. So this is amazing.
This is great. I'm really excited.
And when you said about buying makeup online, I've got a little story to share. I have actually recently, not too long ago, bought foundation online. And it's a popular website. I'm not going to say the name, but everyone knows it because they're really big on social media marketing at the moment. I went in there and you do all these stages of this and this and this. And at the end, when I got my product, the color was, I would say, a good color, but the undertone did not match. It just didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so excited because I really love shopping online. I just can't wait for you to do your stuff so I can just sit in my bedroom and just order stuff. So I'm really excited.
Order it. I know, and that's actually a very common problem. You know, what's funny is this is something that I'm interested in now, but I only really started becoming interested in beauty and the makeup industry in the last few years. And before that, I actually have some underlying skin issues. I've got eczema and really sensitive skin. So I didn't apply that much makeup. And the reason that I got into this, I have this idea and I want to pursue this is because I wanted to do something that was outside of medicine, but that really helped people of color be seen in an industry where they traditionally were not seen. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, it's so embarrassing now, but I didn't even know what an undertone was until 2 years ago. I didn't even know that I was supposed to be matching that to my skin. And there's a lot of people out there, I feel, that still really don't know about that.
Yes. So I'll tell you another story. So recently I went into Sephora. This was after I had bought that foundation online. I've got a foundation I absolutely love. It's called Black Up. I'm happy to hype them because there's no one I've told about it that has not fallen in love with it. It's called Black Up. But you can't buy it in Canada. So I'm in Canada at the moment. So I needed something that would give me that because it just makes you glow. I don't need a lot of makeup. My skin's okay, but I just want something that just makes me glow, that look. So I went into Sephora and bless them. There was this young girl and I said, look, this is what I want. I'm an easy customer. This is what I want. I showed her a picture of my Black Up thing. I told her the effect I wanted. I showed her a picture in my on my phone of what I wanted to look like. So she goes away, brings all these products and she's like, oh, this one's got SPF, it's got sunscreen, and it'll protect you and all of that. And she was so happy. She brought all these colors. You know what I realized, Priya? When she put it on my face, although it looked like the right color for my skin, it translated chalky on my face. It was a whitish undertone. So I looked grayish and slightly dead. And I wasn't. So I said, this is not it. This is not it. And she kept going, bringing more and more of these products. And then someone recognized the Black Up and brought a different product that I thought was okay. It's not the best, but I'm happy with it for now. And I realized the reason I looked chalky was because it had sunscreen in there. It was whitish paste. So once again, although they have put a color in a bottle that looked like it matched my color, the sunscreen in there was not made for me in
Right.
No, it wasn't. And I just started thinking, oh my goodness, this is why I do what I do. So you go in there
Yes.
thinking you're going to buy 2 in 1, but no, you're not. It just makes you look worse because the sunscreen is a white paste anyway.
Right. And even the sunscreen in there, they add that for the effect, but it's not even, you can't even use that as your primary sunscreen anyways. So it's ruining the color and it's not even helping you.
So I said to this lady, listen, I don't think I've left home in the last 5 years without sunscreen. Just forget about it. Don't. She's like, oh my goodness, this is why your skin looks amazing. I said, maybe, but I do not need sunscreen. I just need the color, So that really, so it's so, what we both do is so important because there are women struggling with it every day, and men
Yes,
struggling with
and
it.
men, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that, and as you mentioned, just that experience, one of the things that I have been doing is trying to highlight companies that have been founded by people of color, only because we have had those experiences. So then we know that, okay, I don't want something that's going to make me look chalky and ashy. I can't get a product that's going to oxidize on my skin later. And sometimes these companies are like, okay, well, we're going to really show everybody that we're catering to a wide range of people, but then they don't actually think about the next step. They just create colors, and they may not even really match with any skin tones, or they'll say that they've expanded their ranges, but they only add, one color on the darkest end, and then it's all, in the much lighter shades. And so I think, it seems, sometimes people may think that these things are trivial, but it really affects the psyche of people when they feel that they're not being seen, they're not being heard, that nobody cares about them. I mean, people of color have a lot of money to spend in the beauty industry, and it's about time that the beauty industry started addressing these problems and these issues. And
So
I'm really excited that you have taken something on where you're actually creating a primary product to help people of color and help everybody in general, but coming at it from having skin of color to say, okay, these products work best for our skin tones.
Because our skin problems are a little bit different. Okay, so for example, we suffer with a lot of hyperpigmentation. Like, if you did the slightest thing, it would scar with hyperpigmentation, and we scar a bit differently compared to a Caucasian skin, for example. So although we may use the same product, but our complaints are a little bit different. So what our skincare should be concentrating on should be a little bit different. So I was even going to bring in the thing about dermatology, for example. So what's your experience with dermatology and skin of color and the diseases that might be come up in different skin colors?
Yes, and actually that's something that I eventually want to pull into my brand that I'm working on, especially coming at it from the standpoint of a scientist and a physician. I think that that's somewhere where our expertise is really something that could be useful for people, because traditionally in dermatology, even in the textbooks, and this is something that is being explored now, the skin and the diseases have only been shown on white skin or light skin. And sometimes even things like rosacea are not, dermatologists don't even recognize them in darker skin tones because it's not something that they've been taught. And interestingly, there is a Skin of Color Society where there are dermatologists and estheticians all working together to come together for conferences to start talking about what are the specific issues in skin of color that need to be addressed that are different. And even things like scarring or keloid growth, using lasers. They don't, they may scar a darker skin tone. And so these are things that need to be taught and learned about. There's an Instagram page out there that is now dedicated to posting pictures of different diseases, skin diseases in skin of color, because those images are not widely present. So that is also an area where there are, just coming from the area of healthcare, there are disparities in care, in treatment, because we don't have that knowledge and it hasn't been traditionally taught.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. Even things like eczema, like you said, it looks different in different skin colors. I remember one of my friends was telling me she was doing her West African College of Physician exams. And she was frustrated because the dermatology questions, what the pictures that were showing them were Caucasian skin. And she said, but I've never, in my dermatology clinic, I will never, ever see Caucasian skin.
Yeah,
and so it even flows backwards to the African continent, where you're getting taught with these textbooks. Thankfully, a friend of mine sent me a few textbooks recently, which I've ordered from Amazon, about dermatology in skin of color, and talking about these conditions. But it's so important. But also, I wanted to touch on the economics of this lack of diversity. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I mean, one of the things that is actually fairly common knowledge is that women of color, and particularly Black women, spend quite a bit of money in the beauty industry, and their needs have not traditionally been catered to. There is something, so in 2017, Rihanna launched Fenty Beauty, and with Fenty Beauty, she actually launched, I believe initially it was 50 or 60 foundation shades, which was the highest number of foundation shades that had been launched by a beauty company up until that point. And they found that there was a huge market for those products. There were people that traditionally couldn't find foundation, were extremely excited about this company. And after that, you will see that all of these other companies now have really expanded their shade ranges to try and keep up. Now, some have done a much better job than others. Sometimes they'll expand their shade ranges, but they're not accurately expanded. They just added more colors for the sake of adding colors without doing research. But other companies have now found that there is a market there for these types of products. And so that's one aspect of the economy where I think that the beauty industry now recognizes that people of color do need products that are more catered to them, that need, that they are missing out on broad categories of people that are willing to spend their money in this market. And so that's something that, I'm really excited about. Now, part of the reason that I wanted to do what I am doing currently, which is to help navigate through all those shades, is once we got all of these foundation shades, especially when you're in the middle, like with my skin tone, now I look at the pictures and I'm like, there's 10 different options. I don't really know which one fits for me. And then I'm trying to look across 3 different brands, and it's very confusing. So with that expansion also has come a little bit of an increased problem in terms of, before maybe you'd go in and be like, well, maybe there's one shade in my range, so I know what to pick. And now you really don't know that.
Yes.
And the second piece of that, which I think, we've discussed this before, is that, when you're buying these products, because you don't know which items are going to match on your skin tone, which undertone's going to match you, maybe you find something and it looks like it's in your shade range and you get it, but the undertone is off. Then maybe you need to buy 3 different foundation shades, and either you find a product that fits you, but you've spent all this money, or you're in between colors because nobody markets to you, and then you have to mix shades, and now you've ended up spending a lot more money than maybe somebody else who's got products catered to them, and it's much easier for them to find their skin tone out there. So, I think people of color do end up spending more on beauty products because of that fact. And it may also be a barrier. So I know that a number of people won't buy online because they're like, I don't, especially if you're busy like we are, we've got full-time jobs, we're doing businesses on the side, we've got kids. I
Yes.
don't have time to like order stuff and return it and do all this
Yes.
nonsense.
Yes.
I just want my stuff, like send it to my house. It works. I'm good. And I will be loyal to whatever brand works for me. If
Yes.
I find the color and it works for me, I'm yours for the rest of my life.
Mhm. So like the product I told you I got online, I do not have the time to return that stuff.
No.
So it's there on my dressing table. Also, before I bought that, I'd bought a couple in the store, like drugstore brands. I'm like, oh, I'll try this one. It looks like it. I'll try this one. Then they never it. So as it is now, I've got 4 bottles of full products on my dresser.
That none of them match you, right? You're just
That none of them make me happy. Like the one I said I got from Sephora, yes, you did this, you did that, but it just didn't give me exactly what I wanted. Well, I'm using it, but none of them make me happy. So today I thought, oh, I'll mix a bit of this and a bit of that together and see, what I get. And that's what it is. You essentially buy 3 different products, mix it up here. So you're spending 3 times what maybe a Caucasian woman would spend, and that takes money from something else, right? It takes money from groceries, it takes money from the school sports, something, and in fact, that reminds me about something like hair products as well, where products for skin of color for hair is sometimes double the price. Yeah, shampoos for curly hair is double the price of ordinary shampoo. So that feeds into the economics of it as well. And, it's wider than just a beauty thing. It just affects all aspects of the family life, essentially.
Yes, it does. And, some of it too, and we've talked about this before, I mean, you need some of this to go out in the, it's not that you have to have like an extensive makeup look, but when you leave the house, you need to look put together. And some of this is just what you need to survive in the day-to-day world. And you have to, you really have to struggle to find those products to say, okay, I need to go to work and look like I'm awake. I don't want my patients to think I haven't gotten a good night's sleep. I can't have bags under my eyes, even things like that. And so it's not, again, not talking about something very trivial. It is talking about day-to-day life and functioning in society. And how do we make that easier for ourselves, especially when we are busy and we don't want to spend, beauty products aren't cheap. So it's not like, oh, you buy a bottle of foundation and you're like, oh, it was $5. I mean, that's not, they're expensive. So you want to make sure you got the right thing.
Yeah. So the other part of this is that even when they do make products, like you touched on it earlier, when they make products for skin of color, it's 40 shades, right? Then 5 shades, are the darker skin tones, and then whatever 35 shades are the lighter beige ranges of skin tone. But actually, it makes me kind of think about skin bleaching. I do not know if that's a thing in your community. It's huge in my community. There are studies that say that 70%, it blows my mind. 70% of Nigerian women bleach their skin. And so in the early days where the industry started noticing, skin of color, one of the first things they started doing was introducing bleaching, into, fair and white. If you're light skin, you're beautiful. If you're dark skin, not so much. The maids in the stories were always dark skin. The rich ones were always light skin. Just tell me from your point of view what you think about that.
I mean, the same thing happens in the Indian community. Colorism is, something that's very significant. Some of it probably comes from the colonial past and, how we were made to feel about ourselves. And, yes, we hear about fair and lovely products, same kind of thing, and skin bleaching, or, who's popular in even in the Indian community in terms of movie stars and actresses, it's always the lighter skin, the lighter skin tones. And interestingly enough, when I first started looking into all of this, I was thinking, well, I actually think maybe what I want to do is figure out a way to get, products that are available in India, products that are available in Nigeria, and bring those to people in the US because maybe they're more accurate for the skin tones. And I read this article that actually looked at the foundation shades that were available. And would you believe it that in India, so they compared the US, India, and Nigeria, and they had done this article. In India, the skin tones that were sold to the population were actually lighter than in the US, and in some their shade range didn't extend as far. And it's because people are want to be more fair, and they wear foundations maybe that are too light because they're trying to look lighter, or they just do not cater to the demographics where people have darker skin. And so there have been movements to change this, and people are coming out against colorism in India, and some of the actors and actresses are starting to push back against it. There is a company here, Live Tinted, founded by a woman like me, a person of Indian origin who grew up in the US, who is now pushing back on the idea of colorism and pushing back on what the ideal standard of beauty is. So this is something that's common in our culture too, and it makes me feel sad when I think about it, as I'm sure it makes you feel sad.
It does make me feel sad. And I remember one of the stories, because you get like really wide opposites, that you get the people that like, yeah, I want lighter skin, and the others that like, I really hate the idea of skin bleaching. And I was at a conference once, and they were talking about management of hyperpigmentation, especially acne scars. And once again, I was the only sort of Black person in the room. I think there was a Mexican doctor in the room as well, because we found each other later, like, you're me, So, but this dermatologist was teaching us about management of acne scars. And she got to the point where she was talking about hydroquinone to lighten the skin. As we know, hydroquinone is probably the most powerful lightening agent. And she said, oh, you do this, you put it on, then you carry on. And I said, so how long should the patients have it for? And she said, oh, long term. I like, no. You don't want to do that in Black skin. And she's like, oh, are you talking about, like, she got there before I got there. She's like, are you talking about ochronosis? Yeah, I'm talking about ochronosis. And she's like, well, ochronosis, I've only seen it twice or something when I went to South Africa.
Can you explain what that is for everybody?
So ochronosis is this bluish dark patches that people get on their cheeks or around here when they've been bleaching their skin, usually with hydroquinone for a long time. So the skin looks a bit bluish, the skin's usually thin, and it's permanent. You cannot treat ochronosis. So if it's happened, the end. So she said that, and I said, oh, she said, oh, I've seen it maybe only twice or something in South Africa, and the treatment is more hydroquinone. I said,
your face will look like that.
Wake me up, just pour me a bucket of ice water. Like, how can the treatment of some, And I said, no. Everyone knows that you don't want to be doing that. And I just sat there in that room and just realized, but why would I expect her to know? She said to me, she's only seen 2 women. Meanwhile, my 8-year-old son has seen at least 1,000 women with ochronosis in his life. He might not know the diagnosis, but he says, why? So it's almost like sometimes you have to tell the story yourself because you know a little bit more. I'm the one in my clinic, I'm the one getting the DM saying, look, I've damaged my skin with skin bleaching. What do I need to do, doc? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, maybe I should have spoken to you 2 years ago, not, So, getting that narrative out there, which is what you are doing, what you will be doing, in the face of something that affects you and, you know, affect your community.
Yes. And same with you. And actually, I was interested in, so one of the things too, I think that's a little confusing is, especially as I'm getting a little older, is what kind of skincare routine should I be doing on a regular basis? What's the bare minimum I should be doing? And, you know, what kinds of products are you working on at this point in time? And how are they specifically geared towards the problems that may affect skin of color?
Okay, so for me, the basis of skincare is that you wash, right? You wake up in the morning, you want to wash. So what should you wash with? If you've got eczema, if you've got really dry, sensitive skin, you want something really mild, something like a gentle wash. There are loads of them on the market, you know, say name CeraVe, Cetaphil, Aveeno. You just want something really mild that doesn't strip your skin and doesn't break your skin barrier, because that's sometimes what happens with women. We use so many products all our lives that will break down the skin barrier, and then you say, I have sensitive skin, because when you put stuff on your skin, it goes deep down into the bottom layer of the skin, the dermis, where the nerves are, and then it hurts, and you're like, oh, I have sensitive skin. Your skin's wasn't born sensitive. Something made it sensitive. So is realize knowing your skin type. If it's dry or you've got eczema, then use something gentle as a wash. And then I do like a vitamin C serum, right? Because vitamin C just makes you glow, helps your skin to heal. It has a little bit of anti-inflammatory, has a little bit of antioxidant, it has a little bit of sun protection. So for everyday simple skincare, I do like vitamin C serum. If you have dry skin again and you do need the moisturizer, go with it. My problem I find is that moisturizers become like, everyone needs moisturizer. No, not everyone needs moisturizer. I've got dry skin and I do not use a moisturizer. So a vitamin C serum will help with that healing, with that glow, with, you know, and then sunscreen. Listen, if you hear nothing today that Dr. Priya and I have talked about, you must hear that you have to use sunscreen every day for the rest of your life. Whatever the science of this, physical, chemical, whatever you like to use a sunscreen. You know, the DYS sunscreen is a physical sunscreen. So that's meant, some people believe it's safer for you. Seriously, I don't even care. Just use one that works well, you know. The DYS one is my baby, you know, like, what's the favorite of your 4 children? That one. I have no shame in saying that one. You know, so because it blends in well, it's hydrating, it's just a beauty. I use it every day. I've used it today. So it's just a beautiful product. And then, so that's in the morning. I think you put your
and your skin is glowing, by the way. So
thank you. And then the evening time, in my skincare range, I've got retinol, right? I've got retinol because retinol is just a powerful anti-aging. It helps fight lines and wrinkles, especially as you get older and, you know, the lines start to appear. So you add that in, but it also helps with acne. You know, retinols are things we prescribe for acne as well. So if you still get breakouts, it's quite a good one to add. And there are other things that you can add. There are growth factors here and there and all of that. But for me, this is the basics of skincare. In the DYS range, I have an alpha hydroxy acid, and that's as a wash, you know. So it comes with a wash. So if you've got really oily skin, or you still get breakouts, or you've got lots of hyperpigmentation, alpha hydroxy acids are really good for that, you know. So that's the range. So it's such a simple routine that you can literally do it for 1 minute, like, and you're off. And that's me every day. It's a busy day, so I need things that need to go on quickly, and then I'm off. So that's my advice for busy skincare.
So just to recap, wash your face, sunscreen every day, and in the morning, vitamin C serum, and then you can, And you apply all those things before you put on your makeup usually, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it will be you've washed, a vitamin C serum or moisturizer, depending on if you've got things you need to treat. Then you put your sunscreen. So the sunscreen is usually the last thing before your makeup. Or if you're not using makeup, then it's the last thing before you get out the door. So that's it for the morning. And then in the nighttime is a wash again.
Is the red.
And then retinol. Yeah.
And the retinol. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in terms of your particular sunscreen, have you worked on that white cast issue, or is that something that you've
I have so worked on the white cast issue, because that is the one reason, believe it or not, that's the number one reason most people don't use sunscreen. Most skin of color, like nothing just blends in my skin. I just look odd. I look like I've stepped off Avatar, the movie, or I look like a ghost, all kinds of things. Or it doesn't glow, it doesn't hydrate. So I definitely worked on the white cast, and everyone no one complains about that with the DY skincare range. It's just absorbs beautifully, and you don't have to keep rubbing it on and on. I saw a video the other day, and this doctor was like, after 15 minutes of rubbing on, like 15 minutes, I haven't got 15 minutes. Listen, Priya, don't tell anyone, this is a secret. From the time I get in the shower and I walk in my office, it's 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes. I time myself from the time I walk in the shower and I get to my office, 30 minutes. So shower, dress up, get in the car, drive, 30 minutes. I have got no 15 minutes to rub anything.
Yeah, no, nobody has 15 minutes to just sit there and rub that in. By the time you're done, it's time to reapply.
I'm trying to reapply.
That's great to hear, and I think that's a good simplified routine, because I think it is a little bit confusing when you're looking out there and there's all these serums and products and what do I put on my face? So that's a nice sort of simple routine to go by, and I can say I'm guilty of it, not having used sunscreen every day, because you think, oh, I'm tan, I don't need that unless I'm going to the beach. And so, those were the only times that I was using. Again, something that I learned in the last few years is that you need to be using these products every day to protect your skin. And long-term, it will help even, decrease wrinkles and just, protect your skin long-term and have you looking, have a nice healthy glow. And so I think that that's something that I am trying to spread the word on. And I have been trying to promote products now that are sunscreens that don't leave that white cast for the community of people that really has this trouble when they put on sunblock.
So for you, what are you working on at the moment?
So I am working on a number of things. So right now I have an Instagram page, and my Instagram hashtag is @HughSparkle. And on that particular page, I am doing makeup swatches, trying to promote brands that really cater to women of people of color, that are started by people of color, but also, just the regular ordinary beauty brands that are out there testing these products out on my skin, showing, which ones show up on darker skin tones. So that is something that I'm doing at the moment, but that is part of a bigger thing that I am trying to do. So I am trying to, I want to create a movement, and I have a name for that movement. It's called Empower You. And I want to empower people to be proud of their skin tone, to be able to empower themselves with knowledge, to go out into the beauty field and figure out what it is that they need, what's going to look good on them, and make them feel beautiful and seen in an industry where they've traditionally been unseen. And as part of that, I am currently working on creating an app to help people of color find beauty products and ultimately skincare products that are going to work specifically for their skin tones, and make those problems that we were talking about, where you're getting 3 shades and you just have looking at all these bottles that need to be returned, really work on those problems and try and help the community of people with something coming from a very scientific point of view, because I think right now everything's very scattered, and I am looking at it in an analytic way, saying, how can I fix this in a scientific, organized way? And so that's that's where I am at this point in time. So I'm really excited because I think there are really big things to come, and it's just a matter of getting out there and starting all that.
I'm excited for you. I'm so excited for you. So you're on Instagram as Hue Sparkle, Hue, then Sparkle.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. And how about you, Dr. Yinka?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram as Dr. Yinka Skin, and I'm on Facebook as Dr. Yinka, actually, but the page is also called Dr. Yinka Skin, and people can message me and contact me there. And the website is dryinkaskin.co.uk. That's where you can order your products from. So I'm excited.
And that's Yinka, Y-I-N-K-A, correct?
Y-I-N-K-A, yes.
Okay.
D-R-Y-I-N-K-A.
I saw that. Sorry, go ahead.
Now saying D-R-Y-I-N-K-A, yes.
Okay, perfect. I saw that you're having a sale this week, so I'm getting ready to test out some of these products. I see that your skin is glowing beautifully, so I'm ready for that.
You'll love them. You'll love them.
I'm so excited. I've been, we've been talking. We met each other just, online 6 months ago, and I've been hearing about your products, and I know we've got similar shared interests. So I'm really excited to try those out finally.
I'm excited for you too, Dr. Priya. I know you have an amazing journey ahead of you, and I'm just so excited to watch you grow.
Thank you.
So this has been lovely. I think we've chatted for a long time now. So this has been lovely. So hopefully we'll catch up again at some time just to see what you're doing and how you're getting on.
That sounds great.
You have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.